Howdy, friends. Back here in my little parable corner with all of my drawings and such. If you ever want to come see them sometime, just give me a holler. I've got about 8 of them up here in different ways, and I'm happy to share them with you. There's some pretty stellar printings. I got half because my roommate got the other half, which seemed like a pretty fair deal. Today's parable, also from Matthew 13, is in my Bible that I'm using right here. This is the parable of the weeds among the wheat, otherwise known as the wheat and the tares, things like this. And it too, like the parable of the sower, is in 2 parts. One where Jesus tells the parable to the disciples, and then secondarily will then kind of explain it. So it goes like this. He put before them another parable. The kingdom of heaven may be compared to someone who sowed good seed in his field. But while everyone was asleep, the enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and then went away. So when the plants came up and bore grain, weeds appeared as well. And the slaves of the householder came to him and said, Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? Where then did these weeds come from? And he answered, An enemy has done this. The slave said to him, What do you want us to do? To go and gather them? But he replied, No, for in gathering the weeds you would uproot the wheat among them. Let both of them grow together until the harvest, and at the harvest time I will tell the reapers, Collect the weeds first and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn. And then he goes on to explain in verse 36. Then he left the crowds and went to the house, and his disciples approached him. Explain to us the parable of the weeds of the field. And Jesus answered, The one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed are the children of the kingdom, and the weeds are the children of the evil one. And the enemy who sowed them is the devil, and the harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are the angels. Just as the weeds are collected and burned up with fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will collect out of the kingdom all causes of sin and all evildoers, and they will throw them into the furnace of fire, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Let anyone who has ears listen. So you might be hearing this and saying, Boy, oh boy, Jesus, get a little bit judgmental. I don't actually think that's the purpose of it. If you've ever worked on a farm or spent time gardening or anything like this, no matter what you do, you will get weeds. It is inevitable. They blow in the wind, birds take them and drop them places. You can't go without weeds. Even in greenhouses, there are weeds. It's just the way of the world. Now, Jesus kind of sets up a dichotomy of those who are the good seed and those who are weeds. And I'm sure you have a list of weeds in your life who you would like to see uprooted, bundled up, thrown in the furnace where there are gnashing of teeth. That little passage about gnashing of teeth comes from the Psalms, talking about when the Israelites are in exile in Babylon, and that is what's going on. It's a very dark, dark idea. But it's not like some people are just weeds and some people are just good seed. It'd be nice, wouldn't it, if you could just categorize everyone one or the other. But again, Jesus sets up a story where the harshness of what Jesus says is quite unlike what he does, right? The people who would have been listed as the weeds by people, the sinners, the tax collectors, the prostitutes, all those kind of things, those are the people Jesus goes to. Instead of binding them up and throwing them out and saying there's no hope for you, those are the people he goes to first. And the religious people of the day are the ones he ignores. So something else is going on in this parable. There are lots of interpretations, lots of ways to do it. One of the things that I like to look at, again, much like the parable of the sower, is this idea of where are you today? Are you being good seed today? Are you growing up and living into these things of love and forgiveness like we're called to? Or are you being a weed today? Are you in the ground disrupting others and causing havoc left and right? Right? We all have those days where some days we're good wheat, as it were, and some days we are prickles, thorns, and all the other stuff you don't want in your garden. So I'd encourage you as you think about this, again, there's not a clear answer, but one I like. Figure out your day. Can you have more days where you're the good wheat than you are the bad weeds? If you're doing that, you're on the right path. All right, we'll continue this again tomorrow. Take care.